Welcome back to Wrapped 2019, where we are counting down the 100 best albums of this year. And on today's episode, episode 2, we will be covering albums 90 through 81. Be sure to send us any and all comments, questions, concerns, love, and support to our Instagram at Wrapped Podcast or Twitter at Podcast Wrapped, or email us at wrappedpodcast@gmail.com. You can also visit our website, wrappedpodcast.captivate.fm, to stream any and all episodes. And as always, thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy.
So my number 90 album is Sullivan King's The Demented. It is a little 3-track project from him that came as a little precursor to his album that came out this year, which we'll get to much later. It's this low on the list because it's only 3 songs. However, I love this thing because it's the perfect introduction to him, because it starts off super dubstep, like metal, just everything that is Sullivan King, and then it ends on this unplugged track called Don't Care that is just him singing. And it's beautiful, and it kind of encompasses him as an entire artist instead of just as somebody that makes electronic music or somebody that makes metal. It's a true fusion, and that makes me very happy, because we love a good fusion artist and somebody that can do it without making it seem forced, and everything that he does to take really heavy dubstep and just hardcore metal, because he's screaming and there's like ripping guitars and just real drums and all that, but it's also a dubstep song. So if you feel like if you're a metalhead that's like interested in dubstep as a concept, this would be a very good thing for you to listen to just as an intro, and then you could go back through and get to the album and just be blown away by that, because it's such a smooth transition between the two genres, and it never seems forced to me, which is very important.
Do you think that he's one of the most genre-bending artists within the EDM community?
Yes, absolutely. Because he has 2 genres that are very, very contrasting, but are also very, very similar. But unless you do it correctly, they can really clash.
That's fair.
Like this, the growls of a dubstep drop and a breakdown in heavy metal aren't, like, you can put one over the other and it'll sound cool, but if it's not precisely done, it sounds awful.
Right.
And there's only a few other people that can do that well consistently. Another guy being Phase One, who has a song with an entire metal band.
There you
Rez
go.
also does it very well. She has a song with Under Oath. But he, in and of himself, being that artist that plays guitar, grew up playing in bands, was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make dubstep, and I'm going to make it great. I'm really excited that he has been one of the fastest rising stars of the EDM world beyond just dubstep, and I feel like he's somebody that could really, really be at the forefront for years and years to come.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
we'll talk more about him later, but I'm really excited.
Cool. All right, my number 90 is Dark Matter by Lil Aaron.
Lil Aaron.
Who we just were talking earlier that yesterday he announced that on Selena Gomez's next album, Rare, he wrote a song on. And what's interesting about Lil Aaron is that he's this artist who writes amazing songs for other people, like a Selena, like Charlie Puth, but his aesthetic is not even close to what the kind of stuff he writes for other artists in the pop world are, because this album is like emo dark pop. I mean, It's an EP, which is why I kind of put it so far down the list, because it's short. It kind of has a beginning and middle and then just ends randomly. Not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's that he's busy and he just put out something to keep people waiting and holding them over for the rest of the year, because it was released early.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been much word on his next project yet, but at least we have this to kind of hang over our heads and say, oh, well, he hasn't put anything else recently, but Dark Matter came out about like a year ago, and I'm going to go listen to that, and it had a Black Bear remix on there to keep things spicy. It's good. Like, it's not bad. It's just, it's not fully fleshed out, which is
Yeah.
why it's so far down. I think similar to your number 90, just it's
Yeah.
short. It's kind of hard to grade short things unless they are like telling a full story in like 5 tracks, which is really, really hard. They're not going to be super high up.
Yeah, there's very few projects that I feel like have been able to do a whole concept in a very short amount of time.
And when that is done, it speaks volumes to said artist about their artistry.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that being said, Dark Matter is good, just not fully fleshed out enough to be high up there beyond 90.
My number 89 album is Toro y Moi, Outer Peace.
We got beef.
We do. So I honestly feel like I would love this album a whole lot more if I knew more about him. And it spent much more time with his entire catalog instead of just being, oh, this got recommended to me, so I'm going to listen to it. Because at face value, it's produced impeccably.
Oh, yeah.
It's gorgeous to listen to.
Yeah.
It is just an audiophile's dream right here. But I feel like it's an album that, and he's an artist that I feel like if you have been with him for a long time, you can pick out these little nuances that maybe somebody that's not as familiar would miss out on, which sucks because it's a really good album.
Yeah.
But I feel like probably in a year, if we revisited this list, I might rearrange it to make him higher because I loved everything that I heard about it. But I was like, I feel like there's always this thing in my head that was like, I'm missing something. And I feel like that just comes from me not being as familiar with his catalog as, say, you are or some of his, like, more fans. Because he has a poppin' fan base.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about, I think Toro is one of those artists who every single project, he constantly reinvents himself.
Yeah.
Like, he released 2 projects this year, this one being one of them, and then another one that was, like...
Soul trash?
It's like, soul trash, death metal kind of sound.
Really?
Yeah, it's completely 180, if not more than a 360 from this project that we're talking about now. And so when you come into his projects, you have to be down with the character that he's made. Okay. And so I think that there's some albums that almost any Toro fan listens to and like, I love this album because I love this character aesthetic. And there's the other ones you're like, I don't like this character aesthetic, therefore you just don't like it.
Okay.
So I think you came into this one, this aesthetic and this character that he made for this album, which is not for you.
Okay.
It was for me, and we'll talk about it again later.
Yeah.
But I think the second project that he released, you would appreciate more than this one.
Cool. I'll make sure to... I'll listen to it.
Also, do you remember he was featured on Rodeo by Travis Scott?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Fun fact.
I do remember that.
That was the first time I listened to Toro.
Do remember that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep delving into him because he's a very interesting person.
Yeah, and he's really smart.
Yeah, as an artist, it seems like he definitely knows what direction he's going to go in and where he's intending on being. I just feel like I need to spend some more time with him.
Yeah. It has to mellow. So my number 89 is Bright Side of the Moon, which I want to note is written completely in lowercase because typography is becoming really, really important in the world of album creating.
Oh, we're going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that in an episode or two.
Bright Side of the Moon by Christian French, who is this Alec Benjamin, John Mayer, or Shawn Mendes offspring.
Okay.
He was featured on a single from the Hoodie Allen Whatever USA album that we talked about in the last episode. And I liked his voice so much that I was like, I clicked his profile. Oh, he has an EP coming out. I listened to it. It's good. It's something that I would like to have on vinyl and would just kind of play in the background while I'm like making dinner or something like that, which is not necessarily a diss against it. It's just, it's not, once again, a fully fleshed out big enough theatrical piece. It's small, it's short, every song is good. I don't entirely know if they work together. Like, I like the beginning and end a lot. The middle I kind of like, it kind of starts to sound a little bit of the same. It's not super diverse, but like Sakari that we talked about in the last episode and Silas, he's beginning to find his sound. He's trying to even find an audience. So when you're at that stage, you're just trying to, shoot for the basket, and sometimes you miss for some people like me, and sometimes you score. And I don't think this is bad. It's just really early on for him, which is why it's just so far down my list.
Okay, cool.
88, what you got?
My number 88 is Death Race for Love by Juice WRLD.
Man.
R.I.P. Juice WRLD.
Yeah, R.I.P. Juice WRLD.
But this album, I think the reason why this album is ranked so low for me,
it's long,
was its length, and just when I first listened to this album, I didn't take Juice WRLD very seriously. I knew he's the guy that could freestyle and could really freestyle, but other than that, I really didn't know that much about him.
Same.
And definitely you can tell in this project, as good as it is, because it's by no means a bad album.
No,
it is
not
a
at
great
all.
album. I feel like if you cut it down, I feel like there's some filler in here. That,
oh yeah, it's very like a Drake level length that I want to cut like 8 tracks from it, and I would think it would be probably my top
Scorpion.
25 as a result. Yeah.
But
Scorpion.
This
Views.
You
More life.
Views was views. All right, that's a different conversation.
Different conversation.
But I feel like this song, like this album, had songs on it that were so good. For example, "Flaws and Sins," "Ring Ring" with Russian and Clever from Gadsden, Alabama, and then of course "On God" with Young Thug. But this song had this album had so many songs that you can just sit down and listen to and vibe to for an extended period.
Yes.
Where it was like, some of it time I was like, this is cool. Like, it went by very quickly.
It does,
and then
yeah.
sometimes it started to drag a little
it
bit
gets
for me.
slow in the second act for me personally. Like I listened to the first like 11 songs,
Yeah.
so I'm like, whoa. And then it kind of gets really slow around like Bee's Knees area.
Yeah, I was gonna say after Desire for me is when it kind
Yeah,
of
Desire
yeah.
is right where the slope goes down a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But it's definitely an album that I'll continue to listen to.
Oh, for sure.
Because it is a good album.
It was on like most of those songs from it were on my top played songs of the year playlist
Yeah.
because when it came out, I pretty much listened to that on repeat for a couple of weeks on ends. Because like you said too, like I listened to it at first, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
and then I listened to it again and again.
Yeah.
Again, I was like, oh, I get it. Like once the lyrics and the sounds
Yeah, for
settled
sure.
with me, I was like, this is bops.
Yeah.
And he freestyled the entire thing in like a week or
Which
so.
is insane.
Which it's-
absolutely insane.
No one does that anymore, and which is unfortunate of his passing because for the freestyling kind of genre, we don't have a lot of other people left on the roster anymore
That actively freestyle.
that actively freestyle, that don't write it beforehand,
Yeah.
that don't call it in, whatever.
Yeah, and I think I became a fan of Juice WRLD after I spent an hour and a half watching him freestyle on Tim Westwood.
Right.
And that was just buck wild.
Yeah.
To watch somebody sit there and be able to put these words together, which is also a testament to like rap being an art.
Yeah.
And not just something that you can throw stuff together, as we've seen with some of these freshman classes from XXL, where it just feels like they just took a bunch of words and were like, this goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there, with no thought into it.
Yeah.
Or like, because he doesn't do the whole 1, 2, 3 word chorus thing unless it has a purpose. And I feel like if he did do that, it would have an intense purpose. Like, he's not just gonna Gucci gang it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, Juice WRLD, we'll talk about him more later on because he's one, a big topic to talk about right now because of his passing, and 2, he's also on my list. So, spoiler alert, stay tuned for that.
Spoilers.
Okay, my number 88 is self-titled album 93 Punks by 93 Punks. It is Vic Mensa, who is a Chicago rapper. It's his band that he formed recently in the past year. Interesting. Vic Mensa was on my top 50 albums of last year with his Hooligans EP.
Yeah.
I like Vic. He's a niche. People either they like him or they don't. And I like Vic because he's similar to, I guess, like a Juice WRLD and MGK. He's very rock and roll leaning.
Yeah.
Growing up listening to like Blink 182.
Yeah.
And then putting that into hip hop, really cool stuff. And so then he decided to form a band, which I think was a great idea if you really want to push and branch out into rock more than rap within your own genre.
Yeah.
This album, though, I feel like at times was trying so hard to be punk that it came off as ingenuine at times.
Yeah.
And that's why it just is so down on my list. I think there's some great songs on there. I
Yeah.
think there's some great experimenting on there. I think the next project that they drop together is going to be great. And I think that him being so politically active with this band and himself is great. Just as a person, it's really interesting to watch what he does.
Do you think that political activism kind of overtook the music in a way where it wasn't like a healthy balance of, or like a healthy injection of political ideals into the music.
In this case, with this project, yes.
Okay.
Because there's a way to balance out. Like Kendrick Lamar, Damn, is highly political.
Highly.
But also highly, like, sonically awesome. And this album, I think, he used it, I definitely think, as a platform to help him form his political characterism. And maybe in the future, the two of them can kind of work together more. But right now, there kind of is a dichotomy between them.
For sure.
But interesting experiment nonetheless.
All right. Well, my number 87 album is one of 3 projects we got from Mr. Future Hendrix this year. This is Save Me. It's also the shortest one we got. It's only 7 tracks.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Super short.
Quick, but I feel like it lacked a lot of substance, and that is kind of something that Future has gotten away from. I don't know if Future ever really had a ton of substance. He's kind of always been, because the first song I ever heard from Future was Same Damn Time. And if you're familiar with that chorus, it is not very substance filled, but it got you really hyped.
Yeah.
This is another album where, like, there's moments where I was driving in my car and listened to it, and I was like really into this. Like, some of these beats hit.
Oh, they
hard.
slap. Like, there was the meme,
Shotgun.
like SpongeBob with the fire in the studio. And it's like, this is Future in the studio. And I was like, facts.
Yeah. Like, these beats are, like, hitting. Like, you can just tell, like, he is working on something. And I commend him for kind of taking this concept and running with it. However, I feel like if this had been the one project that he put out this year and it was a little bit longer, like maybe to 10 or 11 tracks instead of the 7, I feel like it would feel more complete. I also feel like he is falling into a rut of knowing how hot he is, and I feel like that could get taken away from him if he doesn't come back with that fire that he had on Pluto,
right?
Or the Offset collabs, or anything from like the early 2010s.
Yeah.
Like the album with Drake, beautiful, and that was like hungry Future, but we need that back so bad.
Yeah.
I don't want I'm famous Future. I don't need Molly Percocet Future. I'm a collab with T.I. and I'm gonna come hard Future.
Right.
But yeah, if next project he puts out, I'm gonna listen to it. I listen to everything he does because it's Future and he has a space in my heart. I just wish he would come out and would put more content and address things that are going on in the world rather than just being the drug guy that also does auto-tune and feuds with T-Pain. Like, you don't need that.
This could be a conversation that could go like really, really long.
It can
so
be.
if you can't answer this question in a timely manner, I understand.
Hit me with it.
But do you think that Future is one of the top 10 rappers of this past 10 years of the 2010s?
I'd say so.
Where would you put him if you could just off the top of your head now?
I'd probably put him like 7 or 8.
Fair enough.
Mainly not because skill, but because of influence.
I think impact and influence definitely plays a part in that.
Because if you go through, I think it was the 2016 Double XL freshman class.
Yeah.
I could draw to almost every single person in there, except for maybe like Lil Dicky and Anderson .Paak. I could draw you a direct influence from Future. I
agree.
And that's just because he was one of the forefronts of that whole like trap sound that came from Atlanta.
Yeah,
like,
making him and Migos and Gucci making Atlanta more than just a community within itself.
I don't think he has. I would also put Young Thug in the top 10 of the past decade just based on influence.
Oh,
because look at
that is
every
fair.
New rapper
that
have Thug in them. Like,
did you know that this year slat was the most used term in all of rap? It was used in almost 300 songs. It beat No Cap, which I thought,
which is wild.
They're close. No Cap was like 275, but I thought No Cap was gonna be there. But like everyone's using slat, so I mean, you make a good point. Like they birth a lot of other artists.
Yeah, and I feel like Future's one that has birthed
a lot
of artists.
That's fair.
But I wish he would come back as that. What year did I think it was like 2012. I want 2012 feature
2012
back.
Pluto.
I want Pluto 3D. Same Damn Time remix with Diddy and Ludacris.
Yeah.
Magic remix with T.I. Homicide with Snoop Dogg. I want that future.
Yeah.
I don't need Molly Percocet future.
Yeah.
Like, bring the flute beats back, but give me something.
I want to see a Parent Future album. Like,
yeah. I want to see a future album, and then I'll move on from this. I want to see a future album where he talks about Russell Wilson, because that bothers him. that bothers him. I want that album where he is just like, you know what? I'm gonna put myself out there instead of just kind of hiding behind this image of like being one of the top guys. I want him to come back and kind of remind us, like give us a reminder on why he is where he is right now.
Right. All right. Well, that was a spicy one.
It is.
All right. So the number 87 is Before We Begin by Eric Nam, who is another new emerging artist out of Korea. And I came across him because I think there was a GQ article about him, and he was the Man of the Year of GQ Korea last year, apparently. He's like big on like the whole like Asian music scene essentially, and like Asian American artists. So I took a listen to his this is his first full-length project. It was really pretty. It was kind of similar, I think, to the whole Christian French vibe, where it's aesthetically it's all kind of the same.
Okay.
It was very consistent. It's just not something that I was like sticking with me after I listened to it. A week later I kind of just forgot about it, and I haven't really revisited it a lot.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's bad. It just is maybe not necessarily high ranking for me personally. So, Before We Begin by Eric Nam. All right, 86.
Number 86 is So Much Fun by Young Thug.
I'm shocked that this is this low for you.
Okay, so if this was just based on how much I enjoyed this album, it would be much higher. But
That's fair. On a technical scale,
level,
yeah.
I had to put it down here.
Right.
However, I will listen to this album for the rest of my life because this album truly was so much fun, and it's not something that I expected to enjoy as much as I did.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's Young Thug, and usually you can only take so much Young Thug before you get to too much
Before you get
Thug.
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't get tired of Thug at all.
Yeah, I didn't either. This was the first album of his I was actually able to get through completely in a one listening session. Like usually I'm like, yo, I gotta stop. It's like 7 songs, and all I hear is and I'm like, I can't.
I think this is a very, very good album for Thug to put out in 2019. And I listened to it, and then I listened to his appearance on T.I.'s podcast Expeditiously.
Oh, right.
And just listening to him talk about why he made this album, why it's called So Much Fun.
Right.
And like about how his vocal inflections and that why he does things the way he does them. And it was so distinctly him that just my respect for him went through the roof, not just as like a fan of music, but just as a person. I could feel that everything was super, super calculated, which I already kind of figured, because you cannot do the things he does, like the Jeffrey cover with him in the dress.
Right.
That just doesn't happen.
Right.
Like, that
especially in
a
genre like rap,
Yeah.
which can easily be very not open to ideas of LGBTQ, homosexuality, metrosexuality, all that stuff.
Any of that.
3 years ago, he's in a dress, and everyone's like, this album is fire. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, and it's like I will always hope for another Rich Gang album, even though I know that probably won't happen. But Thug just impressed me so much, and then going to see him on the So Much Fun tour, or as they renamed it, the Justin Bieber Big Tour.
Yeah.
Was super, super cool because I got to see him in Atlanta. And it was just him having fun on stage. And he talks about in the other podcast appearance how he made this album not for him like he made every other thing else, but it's for his fans and for people. That's why he said this is just an album to go out and have fun with.
Yep.
And I cannot tell you a song on here that is not fun.
Yeah.
Bad. First song I heard from it just on the radio, and that's a bop. Ecstasy with Machine Gun Kelly. Incredible
and
song.
then, of course, you have Hot, and then the remix of Travis Scott.
That
It's constantly being voted one of the best songs of the year.
because it's a
a
genuinely
good song.
good song.
And I think this is
even
a great album for
even
him.
before they added Travis, it was amazing.
It slapped. And then
Yeah.
they did the video and then added Travis, and that just made it that much more awesome.
Yeah.
It was a good album for him, like you said, for
Yeah.
2019. Like, it is commercially being well received. It is being critically well received. Like, Rolling Stone, all these other publications are putting it in their top albums. Like, we're talking
Yeah.
like not just like in their 50, in
because
like
it
their 10s.
commands so much respect. Like, you have to acknowledge the fact that this is amazing. Like, this is incredible.
And like we talked with Future, like he's definitely someone who's spawning more inspiration, and he's a pioneer for not just his genre and his community, but like music as a whole and where it's kind of going in pop.
Think Thug is going to be around for a very long time.
Which is wild because he's already been around for a long time, but I think that this is finally his kind of, breakout. It took, almost a decade, but he's finally breaking out beyond just like the rap community, and the entire world is really getting to know him.
Because remember before he was just like an Atlanta legend?
Yeah.
Like, he was in the upper echelon of Atlanta, but now he's like the upper echelon of the world. Like, you can find his influence in like Korean rappers.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, he is that big. And also, if you haven't listened to it, Cartier Gucci Scarf is the song of the year.
Cartier Gucci Scarf is the most memeable and most quotable
so much fun.
song of the year at the same time.
Yeah, it just, that A line, that cadence that he has in there is just out of the blue.
Yeah.
And it just it gave me the biggest stank face the first time I listened to it.
Same.
Partly because confusion. And then I was like, wait, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is so much fun by Young Thug. Personally, one of the best albums of the year. Technically.
Right.
Nah,
right. I'm with you.
Personally, I will listen to this forever and always.
Right. My 86 is Surfacing by, I'm probably going to like butcher the pronunciation of this name, but it is Relummer. He was this artist who... Rumuler. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
I heard one person say it correctly once, and I was like, that is not even close to what I thought it was.
I don't think I've ever actually heard them say it. So.
Yeah, same. But a couple years ago, he put out a song, Frustrated.
Yeah.
That is a straight bop that I found. And then it kind of went really popular for him for a while, and then he kind of just went back into his like studio.
Yeah.
And then he delivered this, which is his most recent full project. It was good. Like, I thought it flowed really well. It was super consistent in its sound. There wasn't a bop for me like Frustrated on there. There wasn't a singular song that stuck with me. It's definitely a project you listen to from start to finish. You don't just pull up and be like, oh, I really want to listen to this song from this project. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, though. It's just the way that it's stylistically put together.
Yeah.
And it is, once again, it's just not something that stuck with me. I'm still going to go back to Frustrated, but I don't see myself pulling up Surfacing and be like, I really need to listen to this again. But he's still really small, like really small. He's playing the Nick here in Birmingham.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is wild. I thought he would at least play like, I don't know, like a Tin Roof or something.
Yeah.
But the Nick is like uber tiny and is for like little local punk bands. So it's gonna be a
Nick
show.
is also low-key legendary.
Oh,
So,
totally.
That could be a really,
yeah.
really
History
cool show.
is made in that room, but it's just like, huh?
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting show for the Birmingham community. But
for sure.
Anywho, I think that in a couple of years he could find a really strong success again with Frustrated, but maybe on a higher level than just one song, but maybe a whole project. So we're rooting for the small artist. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, so my number 85 is by Rich the Kid, and it's This World Is Yours Too.
Wait, that was this year?
That was this year.
That feels so long ago.
Yeah, I know. So,
oh, wow.
This was an album that I bopped all the way through. There's nothing super special about it to me, but it was just something that he definitely had something to say and definitely forced me to listen to it. Like, there was a couple moments where I was just like, huh. All right. I cannot say that there is a bad feature on this album.
Yeah, he had Tory Lanez, he had Miguel and Ty Dolla $ign.
Same song. Miguel and Ty Dolla $ign. Did not see that coming. Incredible.
Two modern kings of R&B for sure.
He also gets people that I would never see actually working together well to work together well. Namely, Offset and Big Sean.
I was just about to say the same thing.
When was listening to this and saw that they were featured on this song, I was like, this is about to be the clashiest thing ever. And it wasn't. I was really happy with how that song came out sonically. But yeah, that's Rich the Kid. The World Is Yours Too. I feel like if he keeps going, which I'm sure he will, but as he continues to make music, as like when he starts adding like substance and like weight to his projects more, then that's when he'll really make his statement. But this is I know he's been doing this for a second, but this is a very good start for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. My 85 is The Underrated Youth by Youngblood. This has been a really strong year for Youngblood.
Yeah.
2019's been a big year. It was the first time personally for me that I sat down and really started listening to him. And then, besides, dating someone as famous as Halsey.
Yeah.
But when 11 Minutes came out with Halsey, him, and Travis Barker, that's the first time I heard him. And I thought the song was kind of cool, but then I went and watched the Genius lyrical breakdown.
Yeah.
And the way he talked about it, I thought was super intriguing. I was like, this kid is really smart as like a songwriter. So that got me interested in him. And then things just started spinning. I Think I'm Okay, Went Gold with Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
That was like one of the lead singles from his most recent project. Yeah, it's freestyled completely while just in a studio at night.
Walks into his house, said, all right,
and
making
just
the song.
laid down the hook.
Yeah.
Like, really impressive. And I think him, as similar to Vic Mensa, like, being politically active, not in America, but in the UK.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, very outspoken against, like, their government there and some of their choices and trying to get more respect there for the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And then watching him on different videos talk about, like, sexuality.
Yeah.
Like, because he, like, goes on stage and, like, usually he says, I date girls, but I wear a dress. Yeah. And I think I look pretty and sexy. But he's just like, I just love it, like, bro. And I'm like,
got to see
it's
him
such a dichotomy. You don't see a lot.
Accident at Warped Tour in 2018 at the final stop in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
His set actually got rained out. And during, before Don Broco, they let him come on and play a few songs.
That's cool.
I was like, hey, this guy walked out there in a dress, leather jacket.
Yeah.
What's up in that? Like, I was like, oh, who is this?
He's like the pop punk hero on a more mainstream level that we've been waiting for the past few years.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good for people that are fans of that genre.
Yeah.
And it's really good just for the larger, like, pop community because he is expanding it back into like what we thought was cool when we were in middle school again, but on a like less
it's a much more
level.
adult sound too.
Yeah, much more adult. It's not just pigeonholed. But as far as this EP goes, I liked it. It's that once again, it's a short EP. It doesn't really have a like solid structure to me. All the songs on it were good. Like the last song is like low-key sad and like it's a super slow song. He did a song with the lead singer of Imagine Dragons, which basically he rapped on it. Yeah. And it was really good. All the songs on here are good. I don't think they connect super well and flow together, but I think he needed something because he's about to go on tour for like releasing a like graphic novel, and he hadn't released an album. So he's like, I'm gonna release this graphic novel. I'm gonna have like 6 more songs in the features I did this year, and that'll hold people over that I can tour with. And then whenever the next project comes, I think this second album, this full length project, is gonna be top charts.
I think he's poised to make.
He's poised to make 2020 his biggest year in his career yet. Yeah. So really, really excited to see where he goes with this.
We'll talk about him more.
Word.
Much more later on. Just not his album, but
features. Not his album, his features. Yeah.
So my number 84 is Blink-182, 9, which did come out this year. I like this. It's Blink-182.
I didn't even know they released, to be honest.
It didn't come out to a whole lot of fanfare. It was really, I don't think it was good as California from 2017. But at the same time, it's Blink-182, and I don't think they're capable of doing anything just truly terrible.
There's only one song on here that's explicit.
Yeah.
And it's called On Some Emo Shit. What a title.
Yeah. Because, like, they're emo dads now. Like, they're, like,
their fathers
of generation.
Yeah.
And Even though this is still Matt Skiba is still in here, which I personally love the fact that he is a part of this group now. I love his voice and I love the difference that he brings. This was just a really cool album, and it was kind of like a, hey guys, we can still do this. It wasn't as, to me, this wasn't as emotional as California was, or some of their older projects. It didn't have that true anthem.
Yeah.
Like every other Blink project has had, from All the Small Things to Bored to Death. Even like San Diego, which I thought was pretty anthemic. I think that I think this is kind of an album to be like, hey, we're still good. Like, we can still do this.
Oh, yeah.
And it
they
definitely
still
proved
make
that they can still
make great music, and they still offer their resources a lot to other artists of other genres, which is, I think, what makes them even more relevant than their solo album work.
Is I love the fact that Travis Barker basically became one of the top hip-hop producers.
Exactly.
For a couple years.
Yeah.
Just as a drummer. That project that he did, where him and Yellow Wolf.
Him and Yellow Wolf. Him and Lil Aaron. Him and Machine Gun Kelly.
Yes.
I think him and Juice WRLD had something too.
They did. They did, actually. Yeah, they
exactly.
did. Who else? There was another one.
There's like an endless list of them.
I remember one of the first times I really saw Travis Barker was when he performed at the Grammys with Lil Wayne and Eminem, and they did the Drop the World and Forever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's the guy from The Thing. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh.
It's like wild. A guy from a band doing stuff with hip-hop artists.
And it didn't seem forced, which is amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't feel forced. Like he truly loves the making beats and stuff like that, which is
also
cool.
If you're ever on a treadmill and you need that like last 5 minutes of encouragement, put Let's Go on, and it's him, Yellow Wolf, Twista, and Busta Rhymes, and I guarantee you will bust out the quickest like 3 minutes and 30 seconds of your life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this album. I think that it's not going to be one that people will remember, but I think it is definitely solid.
Yeah, good stuff. My number 84 is the 7 EP by Lil Nas X. One of the biggest artists, without a doubt, of the year. Like, you don't even have to say the full name and people know who you're talking about. Like, Old Town Road made history. And the fact that he went from a year ago, like at this time when he was just releasing it, being not anywhere close of success to where he is now commercially, to then being nominated multiple times for the Grammy Awards and constantly being awarded as one of the
top Grammy Awards. Not just like he got a Best Rap Album nomination. This is like Record of the Year, Album of the Year,
Song of the Year, Record of the Year.
Like that is not an
wild
easy feat to do on your first project.
Yeah.
So like, ooh, yeah.
I really like him a lot as a person, and after coming out with a song that was country and hip hop, and then following it up with Panini, another bop. Yeah. Coming out with this, then coming out as gay, and then just being like an African-American young successful male. Yeah. Like, super awesome. Hitting on all cylinders there. Yeah. As far as this project goes, do I think it should be nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys? Absolutely not. One, they're calling it 7. They're not calling it 7 EP. The full title is 7 EP. Yeah. For a category that's called Album of the Year. Little controversial in my mind there. Yeah. And also, everyone got really upset when Bruno Mars won Album of the Year off of a 9-song album. Granted, I don't think 7's going to win.
7 shouldn't win.
7 shouldn't win, but the fact that they don't seem to listen, like, fam, like, people got upset over a 9. Now we have literally a 7 one.
In a 9-song album that was much better.
Oh, totally
instant
different.
Classic.
Yeah, instant classic. But I like Lil Nas. I love Panini. I love Old Town Road. There's a couple other songs on this thing I love. Rodeo with Cardi B was awesome. The rest, I kind of was just like, they're okay. I think he needed to.
I really like Closure too.
I like them individually. I think they were good. It's a good project for him to just sink his toes in the water, work with other people, get into a professional studio for once, really start pushing his songwriting skills. Mm-hmm. And he just released it, not necessarily to be like, I think he wasn't intending it to be an Album of the Year. Yeah. So then I think it's funny how the Grammys like, we're going to nominate this for Album of the Year. It feels like, bro, he just trolled y'all so hard. Yeah. Like, either they absolutely don't understand good music as a whole album format anymore, or they just want to seem cool.
Yeah.
It's weird that this is up for album of the year and Igor is not. And also I know they have different voting people for album of the year versus individual genre categories. This isn't even nominated for rap album of the year.
Yeah.
And this happens all the time where an album that's not nominated for like in its own category of genre gets nominated for album of the year. It happens a lot. I personally don't think it makes any sense though for an album that is what you would deem rap to not be up in its own genre category but be up for album of the year.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. So 7, great experimental project to really sink his toes in the water, and whatever he delivers next is going to be absolute bonkers and awesome. But on a technical scale, it's not there yet.
I personally just wish that listening to it and listening to Rodeo for the first time, it started and the first thing I thought was,
Travis
why
Scott.
isn't Travis Scott on this?
I need a Travis Scott remix for sure.
Dude, that hook, the way that hook happens, and I know this is a problem because it's like, it's a Lil Nas song, like it's a Lil Nas X song, but just the way he hit it, like if it was just like a hidden feature where he just had Travis do that one time, that would have just blown it out. But that's also because this has been the year of Travis Scott and like a couple years of Travis Scott. But definitely, I'm looking forward to whatever he does next.
I am too.
I really hope he continues to collaborate with Take a Day Trip.
I think him and Take a Day Trip. Same with Take a Day Trip and YBN Cordae.
Yeah.
Though they need to stick to those producers because they do them so well.
Day Trip gave us Mo Bamba too.
Yeah.
So like they had a very good year as well. So
Agreed.
I hope that they continue. They seem to work very well together.
Incredibly.
Yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to whatever he does next.
Same.
Yeah.
Lil Nas X, young legend. All right.
Hey, young boy.
Number 83.
My number 83 is another EP. It's called Revision by Slaves.
Like the band.
Like the band Slaves. So this was...
I don't know what else I was thinking of, but like I was like, wait, Slaves the band?
Yeah. So this project is... I know Slaves is a rather controversial band because their former lead singer, Johnny Craig, is no longer with them. And this was kind of the last thing he did. And these are just acoustic renditions of past songs.
Oh, yeah.
But I am a sucker for a good acoustic rendition of a song that hits hard. And I'm really regretful at the fact of Johnny not being in the band anymore. But this project, just the way he sings everything, there's so much emotion behind it that is brought out even more so now that there are no like heavy guitars. It's all acoustic and like cajones and stuff. And I feel like this really, really brings out the nuances in his voice. And I think he is one of the most incredible vocalists of the generation.
Yeah.
I just wish that he got his life together.
Yeah.
I feel like that would benefit him a lot.
Yeah. Well,
so it goes.
Speaking of pop punk, my number 83 is Beautiful Oblivion by Issues.
The boys.
So I love Issues, but I didn't love this album. And I was kind of shocked I didn't like it because Flexin', which was one of the singles, was a bop. And I loved Flexin'. Still love Flexing. But the album, it just didn't land for me. Like, it was 40 minutes, and it felt so long. Like, I was listening to it, and I was like, okay. It felt like I was literally having to work to get through every single song because parts of them I loved, and parts of them I was just like, cut that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't land for me. It was not my favorite Issues project. I don't know whether I like it better or not than the one before it, Coma, or not.
This was also their first album without Michael.
And I do think that I like Michael as much as I liked Michael. I think I like not having Screamo in there as much, just because I think I tend to go now towards pop punk albums that don't have that element to them. And Tyler Carter's voice is beautiful, and I like that being the forefront. I don't want it necessarily overpowered. Because the few times that he screamed on it, one, I don't think it was good, and two, it also was just like, this isn't that part of the project. We're done with that, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna scream, you should have kept Michael. So I don't know. Issues, love y'all. It just didn't land for me.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool though with their tour of who they're bringing and the fact that they're gonna play this entire album.
Yeah.
Because I really wish more artists did that, and I would like to see that in the future.
I feel like this album was a lot more adult.
I do agree with that.
It felt like they were. I super commend them on like breaking that.
I agree.
Issues kind of idea of what they are, because like I think of Issues, I think of Hooligans, King of Amarillo.
Yeah. They've gone more pop recently.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I think it fits them. I
agree.
At Warped Tour, actually, they played in Atlanta, and I was really excited to see him because Issues' hometown. It'd be great.
Yeah.
But I was also very nervous.
Because you didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah, because I am a huge fan of Michael and the work that they did together.
Same.
And I was upset when I saw that he wasn't in the band anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But I enjoyed the album. I thought I loved when they released Flexin'.
Flexin' was great.
Just lost their
Flexin' was great.
minds on Twitter.
Flexin' was awesome.
We don't know what this is, and I was like, good. I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Like they need to do this more.
I think it's a warm up to the next album, and the next album is going to be something that I personally will enjoy better.
I feel like this was very much more of a we need to go off the deep end because everybody's already mad at us, so why not?
Yep.
And I really, really appreciate the musicality of some of the things. I personally wish that Michael was still in the band. I don't know the specific details.
Same.
And I love Michael's project, although I don't know if it's still going on. He had another band called Wild Heart where he played drums with Teddy Swims as a vocalist. And that Lonely, wow, I was not prepared to listen to that the first time.
Yeah.
This is awesome. But definitely looking to see what they do next.
Yeah, same.
82.
82.
My number 82 comes from a classic group known as the Backstreet Boys.
Oh my gosh,
and their album
that was
DNA.
That was this year.
That was this year.
Wow, because that was at the tail end of last year when they were starting that, and then like they released this like the very beginning of this year.
This was their first album since 2014.
Wow.
In a World Like This. I actually listened to this album because I helped work on their show when they came to Birmingham at BJCC, and was like, well, I'm going to work on the Backstreet Boys. Let's see what they're talking about. Not talking about much. However, if you want to hear the Backstreet Boys, do the Backstreet Boys, but the Backstreet Boys as adults and no longer trying to appeal to the average teenage girl.
Right.
This is a really cool thing, and watch it. And it kind of feels like they know that their fan base is much older.
Yes.
And they know that they are that soccer mom group. So like watching them like, and like getting the parts of the show that I did get to see, they were killing it still.
Yeah.
That dance break.
They still have it.
Oh my goodness. I was nervous.
They can move.
Oh my gosh. They're incredible movers, incredible entertainers. I felt like I had to put this on here and I had to listen to it just because of it's the Backstreet Boys. Yeah. And I'm not gonna deny myself some Backstreet Boys.
Also, Don't Go Breaking My Heart came out, and I was like, I'm scared. And I listened to it and I was like, this is a bop.
Yeah.
It's fire.
Yeah.
So good.
Live, they did this, like, I remember watching them do, their encore was Everybody, Backstreet's Back. And I remember sitting backstage at the BJCC and just hearing that first Everybody. There was a 5-minute applause break because people just lost their minds. Man. Like, you just heard that Everybody, and people just started screaming, and they're just standing on stage, like, ready to do it. And then sure enough, that music hit, they went into that dance, and you could have been back in like 1998 just watching them move like in their prime. That was really, really cool.
That's awesome, man.
They're also very nice guys. They stopped to talk to the crew, which is really, really cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's my number 82.
Mine is Chunk Music 3 by Yellow Wolf. One of 2 projects that he put out this year. I haven't had a chance to listen to the other one, but I did listen to this because it came out about almost half a year ago now. It was the third in his line of like trunk music aesthetic character EPs or albums, however you want to categorize them. And it's down on my list, not necessarily because it's bad. It's just it is a niche, and it is one type of like kind of sound, and it doesn't bring a ton of diversity to the table, which then on a technical scale doesn't make it look good. Yeah. But as a pure like similar to like So Much Fun aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's great. I mean, there's tons of features on this album. Then the Catfish Billy 2 was awesome. That was a good
Billy and
song.
I'm Really in the House.
Yeah, the MGK verse on that
Rowdy.
one. Yeah, and Rowdy was great. It's a ton of fun. It's not super beyond the surface level as a result of that, and that is totally okay. It's just on a technical scale. It's not there on my list. But I did truly enjoy this album a lot. It is a little long though, but
we'll talk about it.
That's okay.
It's coming again. It'll come up again.
I know it's coming again.
It'll come up.
It's
again.
okay. We can just go to 81.
All right. So my number 81 is Carte Blanche by DJ Snake. So this album was cool. It was alright.
Was cool.
It was cool. This is for the first time I kind of felt like he threw in the towel a little bit. Because if you go back and explore his catalog, mainly his his debut album, Encore, this album kind of lacked those songs that just could stay with you forever. Mm-hmm. This album was definitely more eclectic because like he just has some straight dubstep on there, which I was not expecting to come from DJ Snake, but it happened. There's some cool things like Quiet Storm was on Boy, said dubstep song's really good.
It had Taki Taki, which was like topping the chart, like radio US charts, even though the entire thing is completely in Spanish.
Yeah. Magenta Rhythm, No Option with Burna Boy. Bryson Tiller makes
Bryson Tiller like made his like resurrection at the top of this year with this album, and everyone was like, "Wait, you're alive?"
Even Enzo with Offset, 21 Savage, Gucci, and Sheck West.
That was a good song.
That's a good song. Like that is where
so good.
I feel like if DJ Snake's not making just straight like EDM trap, that like he could make a living as a beat maker. I feel like he will continue to sell out the world.
Totally.
Because it's DJ Snake and that's just what he does. But this album, I feel like, didn't have enough power behind it like Encore did. Mm-hmm. It also didn't have anything that stood out to me like Oh Me Oh My did, which was my personal favorite song from Encore, which features Travis Scott, Migos, and Gashi. I just feel like this album was good, could have done more, but I feel like this definitely had. It was much more. I feel like his personality. And like based off the year he's had, it felt very international instead of very DJ Snake.
Yeah.
But I wanted to hear DJ Snake instead of international. But
I got you.
That is my opinion. Feel free to disagree. Right, hit me with it.
So this is album we've already talked about. My 81 is Weather by Tycho. Once again, I've always been like, since college, really, really into Tycho. I made a playlist dedicated just to him called Study and Productivity that I still have. Yeah, that I still have. That I listen to whenever I just need to like really zone in on something and just get some non-lyrical music. But this album, I was really excited when he announced it. I was like, oh my gosh, Tycho's coming back. It's been like 3 years since he's had a project that was not just remixes. And I think one of my biggest issues with it was the fact that there are lyrics on it. I'm nothing against his collaborator who's on the album with him. Yeah. But she has a great voice, but I didn't want that on the Tycho album. Yeah, Saint Sinner. I did not want her. She's on the whole thing too. If it was one song, I'd be like, cool, man, no big deal. Yeah. But literally, she's on 6 of the 8 songs. Yeah. She's only not on the intro and outro. And it sounds like he was the producer for her album. This is not a Tycho album. This is a Saint Sinner produced
by Tycho.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's what killed it for me. Also, the art is out of canon of Tycho because he always does those like same kind of square shapes and nice little art things. This is a photograph. I'm like, you don't do photographs, Tycho. And not that I'm saying that he can't, go outside of his realm. It just, it's just not what I wanted. And maybe that's because I am stuck in my ways of being a classic Tycho fan, and maybe he will prove me wrong by doing another album just like this, but really, really good next go round. Yeah. Or he'll go back to what he's done before always and release another Epoch or Dive or something like that. But this is nominated for a Grammy, which shocked me because I didn't think that this album of any of his albums would or should get nominated for a Grammy. Yeah. Especially given its contenders.
We could just spend a whole episode talking
we could just spend a whole episode about that
category of the Grammys because I have thoughts.
I thought this would be a lot higher first going into it, but it's my number 81 just because I was kind of let down by it. So it's still well produced.
Very well produced.
Still well produced. That's why it is not way, way down.
Yeah.
But other than that, it just made me a little sad boy. That is then going to do it for this episode 2 of Wrapped 2019.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. We will be coming back with albums 80 through 71 on episode 3. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Follow us on all of our social media or visit wrappedpodcast.captivate.fm to check out our website and RSS feed.
Don't forget to subscribe.
That's right. We'll see you guys next time.